We are back with another IP battle, season 16, episode 18, and it was a good one. Now, for those of you who don't know, I think it's only going to be about 20 episodes in this season. So, like I said, we just finished episode 18, so it's only two more. So you'll definitely want to kind of continue to tune in as we only have two more episodes left. And I'm actually thinking about going back to my football background. And at the end of each year, you got like a highlight reel that you put together for that year and kind of showed it to all your friends to the extent that you're a senior or junior, showed it to the scout. So I'm looking to do a highlight of season 16, a highlight of kind of the more, I don't say important pitches, but just kind of some highlight areas of of this season. So kind of be on the lookout for that. Hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community where you will get that highlight reel if I do decide to do it. And again, man, like I said, this episode was actually pretty interesting. We were 3 for 4, so we weren't a perfect 4 for 4 as it relates to offers being given out or offers being given out. However, we did go 75%, which is good, which is still good. Now, what I look for in these IP battles, I answer at the end, but I also want you guys to answer is number one, what pitch or business do you think is going to be around over the next 15, 20 years? And what business do you think is going to make the most money kind of going forward here? So a lot of times that company can be one of the same company, but sometimes it is, two separate companies. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head as we're kind of going through each of these pitches. We're going to go right in order. We're going to start with Jaju Pierogi. Let's hear about what the sister combination has to say about that company, and then we'll come back to me and I'll give you guys my thoughts.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Casey.
And I'm Vanessa.
We're from Boston, Massachusetts.
And we're the two sisters behind
Jaju Pierogi. Today, we're seeking $300,000 for 8% equity in our company, Jaju Pierogi.
Wow.
Okay, I'm actually not a pierogi. So, Sharks, do you know what our love language is?
It's pierogi. Pierogi are Eastern European dumplings, traditionally made with potato, cheese, and dough, boiled and fried in butter.
Growing up in Western Massachusetts, we always had pierogi from our grandfather's deli in our freezer. There was no mac and cheese. We were hungry, grab pierogi and fry them up in some butter.
When we went off to college in Boston, our mom would hand deliver these same pierogi to our dorms, and all of our friends would ask, "Hey, where'd you get those?"
Inspired, we dusted off our grandfather's handwritten recipes and got to work creating Jaju Pierogi.
We use the same ingredients our grandfather used. Our dough tastes like it was rolled out on the kitchen table.
Our pierogi are pre-boiled, flash frozen, and ready to eat in 10 minutes. They're great for families and individuals alike.
So, Sharks, who wants to come smell like butter with us
and make pierogi a household staple?
So, man, again, it seems like I love these kind of these family affair businesses. It seems like you kind of seeing that more and more on Shark Tank. So shout out to the family members, sisters, brothers, mom, daughter, son, father, son, mother, daughter, those kind of businesses. And I love to see them. So kind of keep at it. Now, this one was interesting. It didn't come up on the show, but it seems like the recipe was passed down, or at least written down, by Vanessa as well as Casey's grandfather. And they kind of took it or got it and took it to the next level. So I would imagine that they have a trade secret on the recipe. And to the extent that they haven't, please, Vanessa, Casey, make sure you are protecting your recipe as a trade secret. Like I said, I would imagine that they are, but I do want to make sure of that. As a lot of these recipes, people don't know is protectable via a trade secret compared to maybe a patent, which a lot of times you can't get on these recipes. But it is, especially if it's giving you economic advantage in a marketplace, it can be protected via a trade secret. So shouts out to them. And again, it's a 2-man team, or a 2-woman team, I should say. They're in 2,500 stores. Man, that's pretty badass if you ask me, to have just 2 of you guys and you guys kind of raise to the level to have to get your product into 2,500 stores. They're killing it. Some of the notes that I took down. Now, the margins weren't great. However, they are still making money with this thing. I think as of last year, the projection was just shy of $3 million. So they are making money on this thing. And seems like Mr. Wonderful gave them an offer. Now, it doesn't look like they accepted the offer. Seems like he wanted to kind of do 20% and they didn't want to give up. Or they original ask was 8%. So it seems like they were a little off on that one. So if I recall correctly, they didn't accept that deal from Mr. Wonderful, although they did get an offer. So even though the deal is not accepted, the fact that the business gets an offer, I count that as a win, at least in my book. So again, shouts out to Vanessa and Casey for Jaju Pierogies. They're protecting their intellectual property, at least with the trademarks. I did check that out, and they have trademark protection on that. Hopefully, they're protecting a trade secret. Shouts out to them. Keep killing it. 2,500 stores. Again, it's only been around for a couple of years, and they're making millions of dollars, at least in revenue. So we're going to move right along to the next one. PermaPlug. I actually really love this product. Let's go to Zach, the business owner, and see what he has to say about the product, and then come back to me, and I'll give you guys my thoughts. Let's go.
Howdy, Sharks. My name's Zach, and I'm from a small town just outside of Dallas, Texas. I'm seeking $350,000 in exchange for 15% of my company, PermaPlug. Sharks, picture this. You get home from a long day of work. You finally get comfy in bed or on the couch. Your phone's on 1%, so you reach for your charger. Wait, where is it? It's missing again. So, what could you do to try to fix this? Maybe you could try a sticky note. Zach's charger, do not move. Use extra bold lettering and exclamation points to make sure that they know you're serious this time. Maybe you could just buy dozens of cheap chargers every few weeks and hope there's one around when you need it. Maybe you could even try super gluing your charger directly to the outlet. I'm kidding. Do not try this at home. But somehow, some way, that charger will still end up getting borrowed, but never returned. This is a daily dilemma for millions, but not for those who've been lucky enough to discover the PermaPlug Charger Lock. PermaPlug Charger Lock is a proprietary, fully patented locking system that secures your charger and cables into place, so they can't be moved, stolen, or accidentally unplugged. Let me show you how it works. First, you'll simply remove your existing outlet cover, assemble your PermaPlug system, which includes the locking cover, a dual fast charger, and up to 2 charging cables. Then you'll place the PermaPlug Charger Lock directly on your upper outlet, and then you'll screw it back in using the included standard screw, or you can upgrade to a security screw for added protection. And boom, start charging without ever worrying about your charger or the cables growing legs and going missing again.
So Zach, honey, sweetie, poopsie, baby.
He's not
Wait,
done.
let him finish.
Oh, you're not done?
I know you're excited, I am too.
Good
Baby.
Phones, headphones, tablets, and other devices are a crucial part of our everyday lives. They're not going anywhere. Protecting the lifeline of these devices is a no-brainer. So Sharks, who's ready to secure your chargers and a deal with PermaPlug?
So man, again, first off, shouts out to Zach. He actually did comment under the reaction video that I did for his product with the praying hands. So, I mean, I think Zach has a phenomenal product. Now, he did get a deal with Lori. And it seems like Lori, man, this episode, she was kind of taking a page out of Mr. Wonderful's book as it relates to throwing out the royalties. And one of the reasons she was able to do a royalty, and I said this on the show, when you think of royalty, when somebody offers Mr. Wonderful or Lori or whoever, one of these sharks is kind of, asking for a royalty, that means that the margins are great. Because you can't get a royalty if the margins of the product in terms of what is manufacturing, what the manufacturing cost, and then the selling cost, if those margins aren't great, you can't get a royalty because, again, there's not enough money to go around. However, when a shark says, I want a royalty on this thing, that means that it is a lot, enough meat on the bones, let's just say. So I think they were, selling or manufacturing these things for $5, $6 and selling them for $35, almost 5x. So again, the royalty on this was, the meat on the bones, the margins on this one was great. So shouts out to Zach on that. And he's been killing, I think he said 456,000 units, not dollars. I think he said they have sold 456,000 units. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong on this. I guess at that point in time, year to date, going back to 2024. And again, they just been really D2C, which is direct to consumer. I think this is a phenomenal product that you can sell in Targets, in Amazon. Again, it's a wall outlet cover / charger. So you can even go to the home improvement stores, the Menards, the Lowe's, the Home Depots, and kind of make a killing off these things. So I think once they get into retail, those numbers are going to skyrocket even more. So shouts out to Zach for getting a deal with Lori on this one. Again, like I said, she took a page out of Mr. Wonderful's playbook as it relates to the royalty. It seems like he had a couple offers, but he ultimately went with Lori on this one. So shouts out to that. We're going to move right along here, starting off 2 for 2. This would have both got a little rocky, though. We're going to go with Fanion. Fanion is the name of that product. Let's go to the owner so they can give a summary of it and then come back to me and I'll give you guys my thoughts.
Wait, there's no crying and cooking.
Not if we have anything to say about it.
Hey Sharks, my name is Glenn Smith.
And I'm his daughter and business partner, Madison Smith. And today we are here seeking $90,000 for 15% equity in our company.
Sharks, for generations, cooks around the world have sought relief from the infamous onion tears. The burning, the itching, my eyes.
Cutting onions is painful, and we have tried all the hacks, and none of them have worked for us.
We have tried chewing on bread while cutting.
We've put a matchstick between our teeth. And this guy has even worn yard goggles in the kitchen. And trust us, Sharks, none of these hacks have worked for us, which is why we invented the Fanion.
The Fanion is a countertop, cute, cordless fan that is placed next to your cutting board, which simply blows away the fumes and vapors of eye-irritating vegetables such as onions, shallots, peppers, garlic, etc. You'll only cry tears of joy.
It really is that simple. So come on, Sharks, who's ready to chop it up with the Fanion?
Now, unfortunately, they did not get a deal, and this kind of what broke the chain of events that caused us to go really 3 for 4 for this episode. And I actually had some comments. Again, this essentially looks like a fan that makes it so that you don't cry when kind of dealing with onions in the actual kitchen or whatever the case may be. Again, it seems like this was a father-daughter relationship or a tag team, a dynamic duo, which I love to see that. Daughter, industrial engineer, seems like the father is a VP of a poetry company, it looks like. And again, only $28,000 in sales. They had spent almost $500,000 up until this point in time on the product. Just think about that. You only have made $28,000 in sales, yet you have spent almost $500,000. Is the market telling you something? Is it not telling you something? I'm not sure, but I think the Sharks gave him phenomenal advice all the way around. Hey, get rid of your inventory. Try to cut costs. Maybe you have to lose some money, but you don't want to be kind of tied to that inventory time again. And I actually kind of thought that the fan was such that maybe you can get a design patent on it. Maybe you can sell the design patent and to someone and maybe kind of make some money off of that thing. But again, $28,000. I think they had 31,000 units still in stores essentially, and $500,000 went into this business essentially for a fan that's in the shape of an onion. So again, as Mr. Wonderful said, I can't help you because I can't help you. So with that being said, let's move on to the last pitch. Rocco, let's hear what the business owner has to say about that one, and then come back to me and I'll give you my thoughts.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Elise.
And I'm Sam, and we're seeking $600,000 for 3% of our company, Rocco.
Actually, Sam, before we get started, I'm a little thirsty.
Why don't you just go grab a drink from my kitchen fridge over there?
1 second, Sharks. I'm so sorry.
There should be a soda in there. You might just have to dig a little bit.
I hate it when that happens.
I can't find anything in here. There's leftovers, there's produce. Where's the drinks?
I think it should be behind the lasagna or the pizza box, maybe? Oh, that's embarrassing. Sharks, as you can see, kitchen fridges are crowded, they're cluttered, they're just plain chaotic. That's why we created the Rocco Super Smart Drinks Fridge. It's designed as furniture, so you can keep all of your favorite drinks away from those leftovers.
And where you actually drink them, in the living room. You might be thinking, this is just another wine fridge. Sorry, Mr. Wonderful, but nobody just drinks wine anymore.
We created a one-of-a-kind shelving system that accommodates all sizes of bottles and cans. Everything from ginger shots to champagne.
The top doubles as a pour, serve, store station, aka it's also a bar cart.
And with our patent-pending sight system, you can even see inside your fridge right from your phone.
Imagine you're at the grocery store. You're having friends over later and you can't remember if you have enough beer. Now, all you have to do is look at the app and you'll know exactly how much you need.
So Sharks, who's ready to do a deal and pop some champagne?
Now, again, I think this was an interesting product. They do have a patent, I think pending, they said, on this product. And it's an interesting product. You have a refrigerator that essentially, as you kind of are taking things out, you can actually go into the app, say if you're at the grocery store, you can see, okay, I need about a red wine, about a white wine, maybe some food products. You can see all that from your app that it is kind of keeping track of. So I think one person actually commented under the video and said that it was a pretty dope refrigerator that I think they actually had purchased. So kind of shouts out to Sam and Allie, I think, were the business owners for the product. Now it seems like, again, as I said before, Lori took a page out of Mr. Wonderful book again on this one, as she get $600,000 for 4%. They were trying to get $600,000 for 3%. So really, the business owners got a good deal, which means to me, Lori really wanted to kind of come into play on this one, because she offered them $600,000, or I think they landed on $600,000 for 4%. Again, she get a $50 royalty on each refrigerator sold until she gets her money back. Plus, she gets an additional $300,000. So again, she is making money on this one, but typically you see these deals kind of favor the Sharks, but it seems like in this case, this deal favored the business owner. So shouts out to them. And again, $1,500 for between $1,300 and $1,500 for the refrigerator. They're at this point, it seems like most of the time direct to C or DTC, direct to consumer. And yeah, man, it seemed like Mr. Wonderful only valued it at $6 million, $600,000 for 10%. They couldn't really kind of get down with that, it looks like. And they are selling some. It seems like 3,000 sold. They've raised $1 million. I mean, yeah, $1 million at a $10 million valuation. And seems like I said, Mr. Wonderful did not value it quite that high. But again, Lori stepped in, because actually Lori went out, then she came back in. So it seems like something kind of, the light bulb went off for her in terms of an opportunity here. So shouts out to the business owners for getting a deal with Lori on this one. And yeah, man, it seems like 3 for 4 for episode 18, season 16. Shouts out to all the business owners. I'm going to reach out to a few of them to see if I can get them on the podcast, talk through their story as well as their Shark Tank experience. So with all that being said, the moment that we've all been waiting for, what business is going to make the most money? And what business do I think is going to be around? Drum roll, please. I think the business that is going to make the most money and really be around is the PermaPlug. I actually like what Zach is doing with PermaPlug. Again, I think we all have the iPads. I'm recording this on my iPhone. You have tablets, so forth and so on. And again, it does get quite annoying, especially if you have kids and maybe there's a house full of people, try to have to kind of locate a lost charger. But to be able to have that kind of thing permanently on the wall, I think is a game changer. I think if they could get into D2C, I mean, not D2C, but if they can get into retail, some of the stores, I think this has an opportunity to go to the next level. So I do think, and the margins are great. So I do think they are going to make the most money going forward, as well as I think they're going to be around forever, just because, like I said, kind of electronics is kind of, you know, we're all on our electronics, and I think those are not going anywhere. So I think this product is pretty good. And the fact that he has a patent, which shouts out to Zach, he actually has his patent listed on the website, which I always recommend for a variety of reasons. Go check out those reasons on that pitch. But he has a patent on this thing, which is another reason that I think the business is going to be around for a long time, as well as make a lot of money. I would probably put 1B is Rocco. I love kind of what they're doing with the refrigerators. Again, I think maybe it's more of a, where's the electronics? Hey, whether you are poor, middle class, or rich, we all need electronics. Again, I'm not sure if kind of poor people, or I would probably say the middle class, is worried about having a refrigerator in there, maybe dining room or whatever the case may be. That kind of keeps images of kind of what's being taken in and out of the refrigerator. So I do think that it's more of a kind of a upper middle class to kind of rich type device, at least in my opinion. So with that being said, I do think it kind of limits the buying pool. Again, they're still going to make a ton of money, but I think PermaPlug is kind of really made for the masses. And that's the reason why I think it's going to be around for the long haul, as well as make the most money, at least out of these 4 pitches. But that's my opinion. Like I said, I may be wrong. Reasonable minds can differ. I would love to hear what you think in the comment section. Definitely let me know in the comment section. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. Go check out the ebook in the description section. Got IP, some cool things that we're doing with that, and those are flying off the shelves. So go check that out in the comments. And hey, man, I'll check you guys out on episode 19. We're chugging along. Only 2 episodes left, I think. So see you guys on episode 19. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Bye-bye.